So, is Bitcoin the future of money? Well, I guess nobody really knows, only time will tell. But today I'm going to share with you a few points and recent developments in cryptocurrency that make me really bullish on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular. The more I'm reading about the matter, I'm becoming more and more a Bitcoin maximalist, somebody who really mostly focuses on Bitcoin rather than anything else. That's not to say that the other coins don't have value. I really think they do, and some of them will really boom in the future. I just don't know which one, and I do believe the value that Bitcoin offers that's very unique from all the other coins, that's really more store value or digital gold if you want to think about this. Whereas other coins such as Ethereum, Polygon, Polkadot, they are more utility tokens. They have various reasons for being and have their own purpose. But today I want to focus mostly on Bitcoin developments. And we know if Bitcoin is doing well, usually the entire crypto market is being lifted as well. So it's good news for all crypto investors. The first one is interesting, which comes from Citadel, which is one of the biggest money managers in the world. And their CEO actually was a real crypto and Bitcoin critic. He was really negative about cryptocurrency before, but now recently actually changed his mind and his stance against it. And he's actually the 40 richest person in the world, with him also changing his mind and giving more confidence towards cryptocurrency, and again Bitcoin in particular. That once again, it changes a lot of investors' mind, and if more investors come on board, the value of it increases. So these are good things and good signs in the development. Having more and more established and sort of more conservative and more old school investors coming on board can only be great for cryptocurrency. Next up, we have State Street, one of the biggest money managers in the world, in line with Vanguard and BlackRock. So they are really going heavy on crypto, it looks like, in the future. They want to become one of the biggest custodian platforms in the world, because one of the big problems in cryptocurrency, you heard the saying before, not your keys, not your crypto, and that is custody of your crypto keys basically. So you can either get your own ledger downloaded, stored at home, having your seed phrases kept in different locations. So it's, I think, quite difficult. So a lot of people naturally leave it on the exchange, where people say it may not be very safe, because if the exchange is hacked, you basically lose your cryptos. And now with one of the biggest money makers and custodian possibly in the world, this once again gives confidence to more investors that their money is actually safe. The same way how you keep your stocks or your money in the bank. You would trust the bank more than you trust yourself by having gold or money at home in your safe, right? Because if it burns, somebody breaks in, you will lose it. You trust those organizations more. So the same eventually I think will happen with crypto. Downloading it on your own ledger, at the moment probably good practice. In the long term I don't think it's feasible. So having such organizations entering cryptocurrency and custody of those coins and keys, I think it's really essential to propel crypto forward. Another great news, the Credit Suisse, one of the biggest banks in the world and obviously in Switzerland, came out saying that we are witnessing the birth of a new world monetary order. So that's a bold statement, and we've seen how more and more people are fleeing at the moment stable coins to transact on those ways, but more and more they see cryptocurrency, and particular Bitcoin, as a store of value, and even to transact in the future through the Lightning Network, etc. And I think there will be more iterations and innovations coming into space. So again, Credit Suisse, such an established organization that never touched crypto before, is now more and more seeing the long-term perspective, and that's good to see. Then continuing on in Switzerland, another great news that made the headlines recently, that Lugano, a beautiful city in Switzerland, I've been there before, little idyllic village in the mountains, is now actually making Bitcoin, Tether and LVGA is their own sort of Lugano token legal tender. So that's incredible. Basically, in addition to paying with the Swiss franc, you can use any of those coins to pay for any transaction, municipality bills, transact everyday items, and even pay your tax in crypto. I don't know if you want to do that, but at least you have the opportunity and possibility. And once again, it just puts crypto and Bitcoin in particular on the map and talked about. So the more people, companies, municipalities, cities adopt such a mindset, the more it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and there's high adoption, and over time obviously utility will go up, and at the same time price will go up as well. Then this is an interesting one. Normally I'm not a big fan of lobbying. That's basically when big corporations and companies pay very smart and diplomatic people to influence certain decision making in the government. So by paying lobbyists, they basically try to get the regulations in the company's favor. So normally, again, that might be questionable. It's not bribery, it's different. It's a legal way, actually. It's allowed in most countries. So normally I'm not a big fan about this, but when it comes to crypto, of course I endorse it, because it means that they're pushing policy in the right direction. And you can see here how much the lobbying industry has boomed in crypto recently, when it was less than 5 million, 2.2 back in 2018, to now close to 10 million in 2021. Going forward, this is only going to grow. And I think that makes crypto rules and crypto laws much more favorable favorable, because I think one of the biggest fears of people investing in crypto is still that the policies may change and might actually potentially forbid the ownership or transaction of cryptocurrency, which would be the end of it. Though some countries have tried that already and now suffering from it. And as we said before, if it really becomes the new world order of monetary policy, then those who are forbidding it and closing themselves from transacting in crypto, Bitcoin in particular, they might actually lose out. So I think we'll see a flip of some of those countries coming back online and appreciating and understanding the importance of cryptocurrency going forward. Talking about influencing government's decision, most recently President Biden has actually issued an executive order to start intense studies into cryptocurrency and how the government can actually implement it and be the leader in the world when it comes to cryptocurrency. So a lot of people again have been feared of that coming, but now actually have been quite positive about this news, because he sounded very bullish and optimistic about the prospect of cryptocurrency. He just wants to regulate it, and it makes sense. It can't be the Wild West, because overall that leaves too much room for a lot of shady business. But having a clear set of policies and principles in place, I think makes things so much easier. Also when it comes to taxation and other things. And I think it's only going to be good for the long-term development of the space. And we're going to see some more interesting news coming out of it. Nobody knows yet how they're going to do it. One thing I believe they will really focusing on is the stable coins, because now a lot of fiat money has actually been transferred into stable coins. So people converting their dollars or euros into stable coins get high interest on it, and that way can basically escape the sort of fiat money trap. And that's of course something they're really missing out on. And I do believe that they really focus on developing their own governmentally issued tokens or coins, similar like China has been doing recently and will do more of. So I think that's going to come to replace potentially stable coins. But Bitcoin and others, they haven't really said they're going to ban it outright. So I think that gives even more hope for the future. Another point where people have been very worried about Bitcoin in particular is that it can be used for criminals or other people with bad intentions, or even in the case of Russia, where banks have been heavily sanctioned. And the thought was maybe they can escape the dollar ban by using Bitcoin to pay globally. But in fact, actually Bitcoin is one of the most transparent ways to track, because a lot of people don't know this, because anything you do, any transaction on the blockchain is actually traceable. So it may take some time, and governments are only catching up now how to do this, but any transaction you ever do on the blockchain can be followed through and followed up. The government can have full control and oversight of any potential transactions on the blockchain network. And that's just one more reason why the adoption of Bitcoin in the future is simply inevitable. And then of course we have the much talked Bitcoin ETF. That's basically an ETF that mimics the price of Bitcoin. So you can buy a Bitcoin ETF, like shares in a company you would buy. You can buy shares in Bitcoin that follows the exact pricing of Bitcoin without you having to hold it. Now that can be interesting, and a lot of people think once such an instrument exists, the price will skyrocket. It may not, I'm not sure. But personally, I think it kind of defeats the purpose, because I really believe that Bitcoin in the future is actually, the Bitcoin has the value, not the fiat. So why would I use my fiat to mimic a much more valuable asset? I much rather own the actual asset. I want to earn more and more every single month. I'm going to buy some of it. And if I need fiat money, I would rather borrow against it. And that's an amazing thing you can do on platforms such as Nexo, which I started using recently, and I will do soon a tutorial on it. You can basically borrow against your crypto holdings. So you don't have to sell it. You can still benefit from the long-term appreciation, and at the same time you can borrow against it at 0% cost actually, which is incredible. I can get my fiat money, I use it, and then I repay it, and I never had to sell my cryptocurrency, because I believe in the long-term appreciation of it. As I said, digital gold. And you don't plan to buy bread with gold now, do you? So as you can see, these are just some of the most recent bullish news on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. I really think we still have a long way to go. Bitcoin is less than $1 trillion worth of total market cap at the moment. Gold, for example, is currently around 10 trillion. There's still a 10x to go. So even at around 35, 40,000, imagine a 10x from here. We're talking about $400,000 euros in the future. So there's still so much more that will develop in the space. And as more and more people recognize the importance and value Bitcoin in particular brings, I think more and more adoption will happen. Once companies like Google Pay, Apple Pay adopt Bitcoin through their native platform, I think it's really going to take off and skyrocket, and more people will understand and jump on board, which in return drives the price up. And if you want to see how I buy my Bitcoins, then check out the video over here. As always guys, I thank you so much for watching. Please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. We're soon reaching the 1,000. Finally, we're getting there. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.